to the Sci-Fi Diner podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Herzog.
Good evening. I'm Miles P. McLaughlin.
I'm Chrissy Raffensperger.
And I'm Dave Sellers.
And tonight we are reviewing, I guess, season 3 of Strange New Worlds. We kind of talked about the first couple episodes, but now we're going to look at the package as a whole. How did it hold up? What do we think of season 3? And are we looking forward to season 4? I suppose you'll get all those thoughts and more. Oh, and you will, of course, get the bad reviews at the very end.
Awesome.
And yes, and we will hear from some haters of Strange New Worlds, which I will say after watching it, while it's certainly not a perfect Star Trek, it is a very good Star Trek, and I do enjoy it. So I would not be throwing shade on this show, but some people out there, some of you, may not be liking it. So we're going to hear from some of you and what you're saying about this show.
Can't wait to tell.
And we're going to listen to Dave. We're going to listen to Dave rage. But
yes.
Someone will be saltier than me. I love it.
Oh yes, yeah. All right, Miles. Do you want to kind of take us into this a little bit?
Sure. So, like Scott said, season 3 of Strange New Worlds. We only got 10 episodes, and I think what some of the remarks I'm reading online is Star Trek needs to have longer seasons again, because, and I'm going to say a lot of good things about these 10 episodes. It would have been served more to have had more episodes for more story development and character growth. I think they did what they could in 10 episodes, but I think that seems to be the common consensus. We need to go back to longer seasons for like Star Trek that we remember used to do.
To be fair, they aren't being inconsistent with what they've done in season 1 and season 2, right?
Oh yeah.
So
It's
they're just not the 21 episode arcs that we've been used to when we had network television, right?
I was going to say, I think that's a common complaint among almost all shows where people are feeling like we're just not getting the same depths of stories or maybe breadths of stories that we got in those 21 episodes. I think that they did away with quote-unquote filler episodes, but filler episodes may not have made like the larger plot move forward, but it gave you a lot of character development, and I think that those elements are now missing in a lot of our television, is that we're not spending as much time on the character development, and it's just lots of like fast moving plot and pew pews and explosions and everything else. And
here's the thing, in saying that, I think that season 3 had filler episodes. I think there were episodes that certainly, when you look at the greater story arc, doesn't necessarily advance it, right? And not that I didn't mind them. Like, I thought I enjoyed like almost all the episodes that aired, right? But if you're looking at like, let's continue the plot. I mean, this is one of the things. One of the complaints, like there were many complaints. One of the complaints about Discovery, right, is that it was like this one big sweeping long arc story, right? And there was this thing like when Orville came back on the air, everyone was like, "Oh, great, back to the episodic, message of the week type of episode." And so we are getting more of that here, but it's almost like there's a little bit of a blend. But I think if you want to be a purist about it, Star Trek really wasn't known. Like when you think back to, I don't know, Voyager, TNG, you just weren't known for these big long arcs. They were known to be more episodic in nature.
That was a DS9 specific.
I was just talking about like in general, the general.
Oh no, I hear
trend.
you.
Okay, I was just like, wait.
I was just bringing it back to Star Trek because we were talking a little bit. So I hear what you're saying. But I think to be fair, I was looking for because it's such a short season, I was looking for more of an arc. Like, how are we advancing this plot to Pike's ultimate end, right? Or finale? How are these characters going to play out? how are the
Yep.
relationships between Spock and his love interest gonna, like, how, so there's some of this stuff I am looking for that in the episodes, because I was kind of groomed that way.
Right, because I mean, you had that whole filler episode with like Moon and the detective, and who's like the killer mystery.
The
which
holodeck
is something
episode.
very which is something very Star Trek, right? They throw those in like
It
100%.
Yeah, the holodeck episode, it just really reminded me of all the different holodeck episodes that we got in Next Generation and Voyager, and just
It did, this is the beauty of the holodeck, right? Because it really allowed them as storytellers to explore different things about the characters in a different setting other than just space, right? They can go back in time. They can, do a detective noir. They can do a jazz scene. They can do whatever, and it's kind of interesting.
Well, if we're going to talk about the holodeck episode, a space adventure hour, I like the philosophical exploration they did, like the I forget who her character she's supposed to be in the holodeck, but she is arguing for why this show is a good show, because it gets people talking. There's way to put things in there that we can't talk about on TV, but we can kind of create these little allegories, and just what Star Trek originally did is just so. I kind of like that philosophical exploration they were trying to do in that episode.
yeah, and her speech about like how it was important to be able to show what currently isn't acceptable. So it was, because when like you couldn't watch that and not think about the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely paying homage to classic Trek.
Yeah.
Which it was great because it paid the homage to classic Trek, and then the fact that it was all taking place on the holodeck was pulling in the Next Generation. There was just a lot of layers to it, and I'm someone who loves layered like meaning
mm-hmm.
in a scene. So
Yeah. Well, most people did not agree with you. This is the second lowest ranked episode of the 10 episodes of this season, but that's all right.
But even that kind of goes to like the change in people's like interest and attention span. Like I would love a 22, 23 episode season again. Do people have the ability to enjoy that in a modern audience, a younger audience that's not accustomed to it, that never grew up with it, that wasn't still pining for it? I mean, you're gonna have to really, really up your storytelling ability, because even motion pictures, movies, how many of them? When was the last time you had a 3-hour movie? When was the last time we really had a good 2-hour movie? Everything is all hour and a half, hour and 45.
yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of streaming places are looking at it as like, well, this is just what we are producing is just what people put on in the background while they do other things. And I work with, I mean, I don't know if Scott and you at work have noticed this with the students there, but I've arrived at clients' houses and they're listening to music while watching something while scrolling on their phone. And I'm like, what is going on here? How could you possibly know what you're listening to, what's going on in the show or movie or whatever heck you're watching, and scrolling on your phone? Like
I struggle enough if I'm being asked to concentrate on something with music that is words. Like if I really want to concentrate on like what I'm reading, studying, or doing, there's probably no music on for me, number one. But if there is, it's going to just be some light instrumental in the back, because I just like, unless I'm doing like, if I'm mowing the lawn, that's a different area, or I'm out on a walk. But if I have to concentrate, it's not happening to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not convinced. And as a teacher, I'm not convinced. I'm pretty certain that students don't get the highest quality of content when they are doing those things. There's no way you can. Studies should.
There's countless studies that show that you're not getting it. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, the modern audience is a distracted audience. So, oh my goodness, hi kitty cat. Speaking of distractions,
Yeah.
show Chrissy a cat. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, that is what we're getting, and so I do wonder, like, how much is the new generation influencing some of their decisions with production versus the older people who, I mean, I'm probably among like some of the last people who really remember the 21 episodes Star Trek, because Enterprise, which has a terrible intro, came out when I was like middle school, I think, and then we were kind of done with Trek for a while, weren't we?
Yes, not till the 2009.
So you probably wouldn't have had people much younger than me watching Star Trek, because it was an adult show. So yeah, probably most people, I'm going to say under 35, 34, did not have 21 episodes Trek.
Yeah. Let the record state, Chrissy was the one who brought up the Enterprise intro song. We cannot be held responsible for anything that happens for the rest of this episode.
I preemptive, because unfortunately the timeline of events is that was the last Trek we had really on television.
It was. Yeah.
But even then, season 3 of this, I think that they are. I am really excited for season 4. With the way they ended this, with the direction a lot of these characters are going, Pike especially, because he's kind of he's been freed of an anchor. As beautiful as that finale episode was, and the way that they sent off
Captain
Patel.
Yeah.
He is. It's going to be interesting to see how he moves forward as a character, knowing what his destiny where his destiny lies.
Right. Interesting. By the way, I did a real quick check on major network shows that are running 20 episodes or more, right? And most of them, ironically, are medical, like Chicago Fire or Chicago PD or Chicago Med. They're all like 21 episodes or more. So the question becomes, like, what sort of audience is that appealing to that maybe buys into that, right?
Girls.
My demo.
Yeah, your demo.
Our demo.
Yeah, it does. So you aren't. So if you're trying to like get in the younger generation, then you are doing the shorter.
Yeah, and even you get into my age too. Like my wife and I have watched her more the Med one, me more Fire and PD, but we've watched those Chicago shows pretty much since day one. She's been kind of keeping up with it. I dropped off because I got bored.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
interesting. It is interesting. Jumping back to what you were talking about the end of this series, one of the things I liked about this season is we of course had announcements that they're beginning to think about year one, right, down the line. And I think they almost had to tell us now that they were thinking that direction, because we certainly would have been figuring it out by the end of this season.
Oh yeah.
Because they because they really drop some pretty clear hints toward the last couple episodes that this is.
I think they're also trying to like the new Captain Kirk.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think of the new Captain Kirk?
I'm on board.
He's growing on me,
Yeah,
He's
and
getting
and
there.
and, and I
he's
do
he's not,
like,
he's not Shatner, and that's okay,
You're not
yeah,
going
right?
to have another Shatner.
and we
Maybe
should
we
have.
don't.
I don't want
Maybe
another
we
Shatner.
don't want another Shatner, right? This is the other thing.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
it's just if
some
they get Shatner, it's going to, if they get a guy who, it's going to look like a parody. And Shatner has been, as Captain Kirk, has been parodied to death over the decades, and
Right.
I don't think
Well, and
that's
they
the
did, and
future.
they did kind of parody it in that one episode, right? A little
Yes.
bit, and and Shatner dogged on it. So
Yeah,
Well, that could have been them kind of testing the waters of like, okay, do we do kind of more of this, or do we like what's gonna land? And at a certain point, since it has been parodied to death, like you gotta play it straight, or it's gonna feel like a joke. And the original series is not a joke,
Right.
Like I'm not saying that it's some sort of like sacred thing that you must, like treat, like the Bible or something like that. But
I'll say it. But yeah.
yeah,
it's like it's close. It's a close second. I have my Bible and the original series right next to each other in the same shelf. That's just Dave, okay? But like, treat it with respect.
Right.
Like this is this is what gave us what we all come to know and love. And I did enjoy watching. I didn't watch every episode of season 3. I kind of had to pick and choose with my time limitations. So I read the summaries and then decided from the summaries which ones I wanted to watch. Don't look at me like that.
I know. I just give you a hard time. I know.
I know.
hey, there's been times I haven't done the homework either.
I
So
know.
hey,
It's okay. It's okay.
I didn't ask ChatGPT to do my homework for me, so I'm ahead of the curve, okay?
Miles and I did it, so you don't have to.
yeah, I did it too.
it was
They
the
even
homework.
because we delayed recording this, they finally released all the episodes I was able to watch. Them.
See, you're retired now, living in Portugal. You have no excuse anymore. There's no work
Well,
backing
so-
you up, sir.
Doing a
Yes,
full-time
but
job and trying to launch
my
my own.
excuse is that they don't release them over here the same time they release them in the United States. So I get
Really?
them like
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks after.
2 weeks?
Yes.
Oh,
So
And you
yeah,
can just
but
tell that Dave is over here crossing off all of Europe as a retirement plan. He's like, that is not happening.
well, I'll tell you.
I could VPN it, all right.
That's
but
what
I did
that's
not VPN.
that's what I do. I VPN
Yeah.
through Canada to get all of WWE's programming on Netflix, so I don't have to have 8 different subscription services to get it all. But hey,
All right, this isn't about that.
That's
but-
correct. That's correct. Oh yeah, new Captain Kirk. The problem I had with Chris Pine's version was that one felt like a parody. All of the extra womanizing,
a little bit.
all of the hey James Kirk, hey Jim Kirk. it was a farcical pile of garbage. Nothing against Chris Pine, but just the way the character was written.
Right.
You're starting to see a lot of the character of Jim Kirk coming out in this new guy a little bit more. He's fresh coming up. He's not a captain yet. He's still figuring out who he is, but you can see those traits that Shatner brought out in it without the ridiculous parody cadence of his speech.
Right.
I
And this
like,
is the thing, about when you look at all the characters, that you have Uhura, you have Scotty, you have, Spock, and you have, these people that are more than maybe what the original character was, or a different level of depth.
Right.
Certainly with Spock, you got a different level of depth with his struggles and everything that is brought into this.
I like that these are not like just what we had in the original series, and then we just make them younger, and then there's no progression to where they ended up. There's actually like a the question was, okay, here's where we know they end up. How might they have gotten here? Knowing here's some of their character traits. What are more immature versions of those traits? And like, kind of like, then let's bring them up through that. And then what kind of stories can we tell? And I liked that with Kirk, because I kind of felt like we got the same thing of, okay, you see the seeds of where we know he ends up there. So what kind of are the early stages of a Captain Kirk that we didn't see, that we didn't witness? And it's really, I thought it was really well done. That was definitely, I was like, Captain Kirk, well, we're definitely watching that. One's on the list.
Yeah. There's only a few more characters they got to pull in at some point. Till we get to the end.
Which characters are you looking forward to, Dave, the most of them pulling in? And then we do probably still have some more to talk about with season 3. But
you got McCoy and Sulu that really still need to pop in yet before we kick off to year 1.
I'll tell you a character I want to see, but I don't know if we'll ever see it. Dr. Boyce. He was the doctor from The Cage. I love the guy who plays Dr. Mbega. The actor brings a certain level of gravitas, and you see a guy that is just a tortured soul. The actor who's doing his character is brilliant, but if you're a fan of the original series and a fan, and enjoyed the pilot, that Dr. Boyce was the doctor on the Enterprise, and was him and Pike had some great scenes. I would love to see them somehow bring Boyce back for something.
And they could. I mean, it's a big ship. They need more than one doctor.
Yeah.
Did they bring Chekhov and I just miss it?
No. Chekhov would be way too young at this point in time. He'd probably be
He's still
a teenager. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember when in the original.
Do you think they'll bring him in last?
Well, he didn't even come into TOS until what, season 2?
Second. Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
mid-season 2.
So I doubt we'll see Chekhov. I just think his character's too young at this point. I mean, there's other characters that were just supporting characters. Maybe we'll see Kirk's friend before he became before the great the Great Barrier turned him into a godlike being. Mitchell, yeah. I mean, we'll see Kirk's friend Mitchell. There's other
Gary Mitchell.
Yeah. Thank you. Other characters from the original series that were on a few episodes, like Riley.
This is Kevin Riley. Yeah.
So I'm
Chief Kyle.
The Kyle we know from the original series, who is the transporter chief. Yeah. So there's other supporting characters who we saw in the original series that they could bring on this show.
All right, jumping back into season 3 though. You mentioned a couple episodes that were standout episodes. What were episodes or maybe story arcs that really stuck out to you as you look back through this season?
Terrarium.
That was your Enemy Mine episode.
Yes.
Watching
and that was interesting.
Yes. Watching Ortegas coming to grips with all of her Gorn PTSD and the way she reacts at the end when they blast that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a good one of those pivot moments for a character.
Right.
That I think that stood out to me as just fascinating.
Chrissy, did you watch this episode?
If
you didn't,
it was.
Go ahead.
It was one of the ones that I didn't get to. I was trying to prioritize things, and so
Right. No, it's not a big deal. It'd be interesting though if you do watch it to get your take on her trauma response and her coming to grips that not all of her enemy are her enemy in a sense.
It is
And that
right
would
up
be
your
interesting.
alley.
well, that
And
also
yeah,
pulls in the theme from the episode with Kirk, which is this was a faceless enemy, and then we saw that it was the humans. So it's interesting that there's a common theme that is through this season 3, which is humanizing the enemy and humanizing the other side, like in one way, like very literally humanizing the other side, um, but also being able to look at and seeing that something that appears alien can have similar motivations and desires as ourselves, um, which is very interesting and a very polarized um, place that we find ourselves as a country. But science fiction is always reflecting that mirror back to us and asking good questions, which is why I love science fiction.
right.
This is
Because it
very
does,
Gene. I'm sorry, Chrissy.
I was like, because it does ask us to look at that mirror and ask some questions.
They really took a page out of Gene Roddenberry's book as far as Chrissy said, putting a face, and even on the enemy, sometimes even a human face, just to challenge us as far as how we view, how we view our enemy. And um, Terrarium did a really good job of that, I thought.
Yeah,
And it also did it harkened back to original series Trek. These super godlike beings, the Metrons, are playing God as far as doing this experiment with the humans and Gorn. And just like, and I thought this is what I railed on Discovery and Strange New Worlds, because it's like, wait a minute, they don't meet the Gorn until later. It was a first contact situation. So maybe this is a bit of retconning, whatever. But the Metrons are saying, like, we might have to rethink your meeting with the Gorn, like wipe out your memory. I mean, it seemed like they wiped out. Well, they wiped out Ortegas's memory about the Metrons, but it's just like maybe they might just say, you know what? Yeah, even though you've been fighting the Gorn for a few decades, you might forget you ever did that.
Are the Metrons introduced into Star Trek lore somewhere else too that I just don't remember?
No, that's the only time.
The
The,
Metrons?
only time, the Metrons is the only time we ever see them in original series. The original the episode Arena where we first saw the Gorn. That's the only time. They only had one appearance.
Okay.
And that's the only mention I recall of them.
Okay. What about the episode What is Starfleet? This episode got hailed as being like the worst of the season 10. And what are your thoughts about it?
See, I don't think there is a really bad episode in any of these episodes. I mean, some are better than
Saying
others.
it, by saying it just got the lowest ratings of all the 10.
Okay.
And if your thought was, if you had any thought on maybe the why, then this documentary film style that they kind of ran through it, and maybe that was part of it.
I enjoyed that
Yeah.
one because it was like talking about the stats of the ship. You know,
It's because you're a nerd.
I am.
I was gonna say, in my experience of viewing other shows that have almost the same kind of thing, it's almost like for a more of a niche audience loves those kind of things. The rest of us are like, what's going on here? It's not following the familiar. It's like breaking the familiar cadence of how a show goes by doing it, and that can be kind of jarring for people watching it, because it's not what you're expecting. It kind of may take you out of the show and make you more aware that you're watching a show, as opposed, because like literally it's showing through the lens of a documentary, so it's like a show within a show, a play within a play. Your Hamlet reference for the day.
Start holding up a skull.
Yes, and then they're saying to be or not to be. No. That's the next holodeck episode.
Right.
So I can understand why it would be rated lower, just because I think that most people, or that kind of episode in general doesn't appeal to as many people.
All right. Anyone want to guess what the most highest rated episode of the 10 was?
I'm gonna vote Kirk, because everyone loves seeing Kirk in all his glory.
Yeah. The one with the scavenger ship. What was that? The
The
Shayla in its tail?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that is the top rated episode of the 10 episodes.
I
We're pining
know
for Kirk again, people. We're pining for Kirk again.
It was. Are you doing a pun in there? I see what you did. Pining for Kirk. Chris Pine.
Oh no, that was a horrible pun, man. Ugh, no.
No, but it was a very Kirk-centric episode, obviously.
And I mean, Star Trek nerds love Captain Kirk. They just do. You slap Captain Kirk in there, and they're gonna eat it up. They just love it.
As long as you do it right.
Yes.
You have the doubt, right? He's like, how do I know? You have the, and that certainly brings a level of character depth you don't always see, right?
Right.
I definitely feel like Strange New Worlds does a really good job of combining old school Trek with new modern storytelling, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like it kept the soul. It just updated the costumes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right.
Like they didn't just. It didn't feel like Star Trek fan fiction, although that's an insult to some Star Trek fan fiction. But still, like bad fan fiction. Right. It didn't feel like what. This is not Trek. I don't know what this is, but you need to stop and actually go find yourselves. Like, if you want to make a science fiction show about this, that's great. Just don't put the Star Trek label on it and go make your own universe and stop being lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think of the two episodes that were kind of linked, the episode 5 and then the final episode where they run into those ancient ruins, right? Somehow there's this society that has kept evil at bay and is trapped in this prison, and then it's inadvertently let out by Enterprise, and then we return to it here at the very end. What are your thoughts on those two episodes as a kind of a pinpoint, and then the ending of the series?
It felt a little contrived.
I should say.
I'm not gonna lie, and felt like, oh, so you just so happen. I mean, maybe the Metro people were doing something with this. I don't know. You just so happen to get infected with a Gorn. You just so happen to be able to survive. You just so happen to have and you just happen to be the solution. What are we, the chosen one?
Yeah. Well,
I didn't like that part. Like I liked. Don't get me wrong. I liked a lot of it, but it felt very like fantasy chosen one thing.
You have to get rid of her somehow.
You can check her. Like there are so many options for death in a Star Trek. There's the classic shooting. There's a transporter issue.
But here she's holding evil at bay, Chrissy.
She's like a messiah figure in a way.
But
did I not just say, what are we, the chosen one in fantasy? Like, seriously, someone get the
chosen one.
And it was, someone could have gotten a prophecy in there. Was there a prophecy? Did I miss the prophecy episode? I feel like I did.
No. And they did some kind of timey-wimey thing. They just said, usually it's, cause precedes effect, but they were really getting heady about, well, no, it's actually effect precedes the cause. I have a headache trying to figure all that out.
Yeah, little
I mean, they did just come up with a quantum. They did just did a recent quantum experiment, which I think they did before this episode was written, where they did something where like you could do something in the present to change the past. So they did something. I should find the study and send it to you. But it came out with quantum physics this summer.
Yeah.
When you realize that whole those 2 episodes were were really, at least to me, set to develop Pike. While they weren't
Right.
about Pike, they were set to develop Pike. He had when you get to the end and you realize that we're now, he has just lived this full, complete life with the woman he loves, and didn't miss a beat, in real time. That now he can move on.
I thought
Feeling
that was
completed with it.
interesting.
You
Yeah,
know?
I feel
To me, that was the entire point of all that. Everything else was just a mechanic to telling the story to get to that level, to get to that point for him.
and one of the things that I know that we said earlier on is, there's so many new characters in here. A lot of these characters are not around when we get into year one, and especially with their prominence, you would think you would run into them somewhere, and so you have to begin to eliminate them, and because they're loved characters, you have to do it in such a way that is
You're not wasting them. They're
right,
not,
right, that they play a part.
yeah.
And so with a season and a half left, you almost have to begin doing that, especially when you only have 15 episodes left.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how they continue that on over the next 2 seasons.
The other episode that obviously for me it was really only because, and we talked about this, was the tie-in into the Star Trek episode, the first season, Wedding Bells Blue, the tie-in to the creature that was manipulating everything, and then of course Q's voice at the end, which is what made it, which made every Next Generation fanboy's heart flip a little bit. Eh, that it was a good episode. That was one of the ones that was kind of like a throwaway episode, if you will, but it was nice to hear it tied it into original series, right?
Mm-hmm.
And didn't necessarily ruin it, right? As far as continuity went.
And we got the introduction to Roger Corby, who is a character we will see in original series. And I like they did some. When you find out what happens to him in the original series, you find out he is obsessed with immortality. So he's going on these alien worlds and trying to find.
And they're hinting at that all throughout this season, right?
Yep. So I enjoyed that part particularly.
Bless you.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Very good. So he's definitely gonna be part of that. But Nurse Chapel's not around, right?
Well, maybe
In original series.
She
Maybe
makes her. Go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say maybe she dies, and that's what kickstarts his quest for immortality.
Miles, what were you gonna say?
Well, I mean, we will see her. We will see Christine Chapel, played by Majel Barrett. I'm not sure which, if it was season 1 or season 2, where she's looking for Roger Corby disappeared. He's trying to find him, and they find him on this planet. All right, I'm going to just spoil it. The planet of the androids. He finds a way to transfer his conscious into an android. It's the one where also the actor who played Lurch in The Addams Family, he plays this big giant android in that episode.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you for putting that together, because after seeing him all this time, I forgot that character was in the original series with a past relationship with Chapel. I completely forgot all about that.
So I mean,
interesting.
This season did do a lot of good work as far as connecting to TOS.
Yeah. Which, and again, this is another reason why I think they almost had to make the announcement that year 1 was coming down the pike this soon. So it'll be interesting to see that. come about.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
any other thoughts about these 10 episodes? Other things you want to highlight?
So I don't know where 4.5 Vulcans rates on whether
It's pretty low, but
I'm
it
going to
wasn't the
defend.
worst.
I'm going to defend it somewhat. I mean, I'm not, I mean,
Okay.
I liked that by making these people Vulcan, it brought out their worst impulses, and it was an interesting exploration of Vulcans. I mean, Vulcans they could be assholes, and only by shocker.
I never knew.
Yeah, I'm sorry to have to do that.
Yeah.
No spoilers, okay?
And you see with each character where their worst impulse is, and Christopher Pike is OCD, and uh, Laan wants to start wars, and if she's more of a Romulan than a Vulcan. So I thought that was an interesting exploration, and just the way they treated Spock. I mean, I hate to see Spock mistreated, but that's consistent with they kept calling him a half Vulcan, and I don't know. I mean, I defend that episode. I think it just by showing that Vulcans have to use logic and suppress their emotions just so their inner asshole doesn't come out.
It does kind of shine an interesting light on Vulcans and their culture, and how much of the logic is actually a facade for something else, and it's just more of a way of smoothing over interactions through that facade than actually being truly logical. Just throwing that out there. It's like this.
And we get.
It's like this.
Okay.
I was gonna say, it's like those people who hide behind intellectualism as a coping skill.
Yes. Yes. And we get to see a break in that with probably the coolest Vulcan that I've ever seen on TV, Doug.
It was great.
Oh, and his relationship with Una, like, sweet goodness, lady, put your pants on. Holy cow! Like, head over heels for him. And Spock's interaction with him, absolutely hilarious. Did you watch the very end of that episode?
Yeah, they had some Easter eggs at the end.
Oh, laughing my butt off. That was so funny.
The actor Oswald,
Patton Oswalt.
I thought he was brilliant
Oh yeah.
as Doug.
Yep.
But yeah, I defend that episode for those reasons. I thought it was an interesting character exploration, just seeing where are our heroes, their worst impulses, if where would they be, and
Which is great. I mean, for an audience there, you have this episode which is somewhat lighthearted, tongue in cheek. You get some a little more entertained out of this one because you're following it with Terrarium, a very serious episode,
Right.
and then the finale, which was just touching and heartbreaking.
Right.
The way they released that out was I think, very, very good.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Very good. So, do we know anything about where season 4 is going to head? Well, we know we're going to get the Muppet episode, right?
Is that in 4? Yeah, it wasn't in this one, so it had to be in 4. I
I
keep
mean,
seeing it all the time.
it's the teaser for it.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know
But at least
that.
it's coming in 2026. We don't have to wait another year.
Hmm.
That's correct.
Well, I mean, good things come to those who wait, Dave.
Yeah, season
No,
5,
they don't, because I had to wait 2
2027.
years between every episode of Discovery, and that was not good.
I thought season 5 was a 5 episodes arc, but I'm seeing 6 here on IMDb.
Really? They're not even going to give it
So
a full 10?
no, I knew they weren't going to.
Yeah.
I knew it was cut in half.
Cheap bastards.
Yep. I agree.
They filmed
Yeah.
them all at the same time, so technically this is a 16 episode season. So you're getting more.
So then.
If we look at
They're making Dave's eye twitch. That's not good. The stress that it's causing him. Take some deep breaths, Dave, okay?
Just, whatever.
It's not worth the heart attack. You want to live long enough to watch the episodes, right?
You're talking about
Yeah.
you're talking about the episode with the 4.5 Vulcans and how they're exploring all their like their the worst impulses. At the same token, when you like episode 3, the shuttle to Kenfori, same thing with Mbenga when he travels to Klingon space. You see him struggle with his worst, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
and we got something we knew we didn't need. We know something we knew something that we didn't know we actually needed. That was Klingon zombies.
I know.
Yes.
I mean,
I
come
mean,
on.
they were clearly watching some old episodes of Star Trek and then went to watch some, Walking Dead, and they were like, you know what we need, guys? Klingon zombies.
We
Make it happen.
Klingon zombies. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
so is that what you're going to be for Halloween?
Klingon zombie.
Klingon
Someone
zombie.
needs to show up. Someone needs to show up at shore leave next year dressed as a Klingon zombie.
Oh, I'm sure that's going to be cosplayed.
Somebody's got to do it. I mean, come on.
Oh
If only my skills were good.
I know.
We-
I would
so-
love some cosplay.
So, what are some we mentioned season 4 and 5? But obviously there's some Pike's demise that's coming up, and we have the introduction of characters. Beyond that, what are we hoping to see in Strange New World season 4 and 5? What would you like to see?
Smooth-headed original series Klingons.
Ooh.
I don't think you're gonna get it, but
I don't think so either. But Enterprise, they dealt with the situation in Enterprise. I mean, you had Worf who said it in one Deep Space Nine episode. It happened a long time ago. We don't talk about it with outsiders. And then in Enterprise, the Klingons were dabbling with human augment DNA, and they wreaked havoc on millions of other Klingons, and it made them look human. And so I want to see original series looking Klingons next season.
interesting.
And I want to see Dr. Boyce too.
Yes, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a little sketchy on this one. At this point, did they go to Talos 4 already?
In Discovery season 2, they did.
Discovery season 2, they went to Talos 4.
Yes, yes. Because Michael Burnham took Spock to Talos 4 because they could help him, and so and then as far as that mission the Enterprise did, that happened before
all that did.
Yeah, so we're
Okay.
that's in our Talos 4 is in our rearview mirror.
Okay.
Got it. All right. Well, very cool. Well, are we ready to move into one of Dave's favorite segments, which is bad reviews?
Please.
Please. Oh, you just cannot wait. All right. We will start with 1-star reviews. Maybe I'll do a few other different levels, but we'll start with 1 star. And this one says, "This is no Orville."
No
That's the name of
shit.
this for real. The Orville is way more interesting than this hackneyed mess. I think it's because the Orville is fresh and new. It doesn't have any of that burdensome Star Trek baggage and legacy weighing it down all the time. Star Trek has become tiresome and weary. It's not new and fresh anymore. It's almost like they don't know what to do with it. They want to keep making money with the franchise, but they don't know how or what direction they want to go. They've forgotten how to tell a decent story. Sometimes, I swear, they're trying to copy the Orville. I don't blame them, but the Orville is Seth MacFarlane, a genius writer, so they can't. Did
Is
Captain
this
Pike really use
satire?
it? Did Captain Pike really use the term "pissed off" when he was supposed to be in a serious meeting with some aliens? Really? This is how a captain of the future would talk? I can't believe these people are actually part of Starfleet. There's something so fake about the whole thing. I don't feel engaged when I watch. Why are there no interesting moral dilemmas or indeed any strange new and interesting worlds? Why do the people all talk like they live in the 21st century? This show has bad writing, bad acting, and bad directing. Lines are stated with no feeling, it's totally soulless and mechanical. Not that I want all soppy emotions of discovery. That's going too far.
Query.
I even feel weary of writing this. So just go watch Orville. That's my advice.
Query. Is this a review of season 3 or just a review of the series in general?
So let me see. I don't know that they allow me to sort by season.
Okay,
I
because
could do, let me do review date. Maybe I can get some newer ones here.
if this is on season 3, honey, you've watched 3 seasons. You doth protest too much.
Wow.
If you watch if you watch a show for more than 3 seasons, that kind of review you should not be writing. Just saying. So, but that's why I didn't want to criticize that they had only like watched it a little bit and then. But again, was that satire? Like, what?
Goodness gracious. Like,
All right,
okay,
great. Go ahead.
you know, the Orville, huh? I will never crap on the Orville. I think that show is magnificent.
It is.
Beautiful show. But it's not Star Trek, right? It's very similar. I mean, Seth is a huge fan, was actually in Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
But to say that this is dull and can't tell a story, I'd be very interested to see what exactly you're watching. And
Well, the Orville, apparently.
well, apparently, but yeah, you must be drinking a
Well,
little more.
I think that the other thing that you're right, this is no Orville, but we don't necessarily want it to be.
No.
We tune into this because we're playing in a sandbox we're familiar with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're revisiting characters that we know have impacted the greater mythos of Star Trek, and we want to see good stories with them, right? And so yes, Seth MacFarlane has a lot more freedom. He's not weighed down by the baggage of Star Trek, but at the same time, while we don't want that for Orwell, we want that to be considered when we're seeing Star Trek, right? It's one of the reasons we tune in, is that why we tuned into Picard. You want to see what happened to our favorite captain and all the other characters. And even though we didn't like all the seasons, we tuned in because we loved him as a character.
Well,
And it's kind of the same thing here.
yes. If you're watching a Star Trek thing, this is what I just said earlier. If you want a Star Trek thing, you want them to consider the lore and the past and what had come before. That's why I was like, listen, if you want to go make your own thing, go make your own thing. Slap a different label on it. The Orville did that. Perfect. Love it. Brilliant. Chef's kiss. If they had tried to slap a Star Trek label on a similar thing, we would have been like, what is this? No, thank you.
Right.
So it's like you can like different things. Like some days I might want pizza, the next day I might want Chinese. I like them both. They don't need to be the same thing. It's okay to like a variety.
Right. Are you ready for the next one?
Oh,
Sure.
Always.
So this one was written after season 3. All right. And it's a 1-star review. It says, horrible would be a copy of real Star Trek. It's painful to watch, although I made it through the current episodes with reading and talking while they ran. Oh, by the way, this must be one of your clients, Chrissy.
Who obviously wasn't paying enough attention to be able to
Right.
They were apparently just talking and reading while they ran, which
But
again,
they know enough to analyze this, so they go on. All right.
Okay, do go
All right.
on.
So yes, bad acting, worse scripts. If this is the future, I have no hope for mankind. Idiots in command of an unreal situation, and I mean unreal in the worst sense. It hurts to watch for an old school Trekkie who has stopped calling anything beyond Enterprise worthy of continuation of the series.
Well,
And that's it.
one, you seem to know enough to have continued watching, so denial is, more than just a river in Egypt here. I'm just saying. I'm just calling it like I see it. You keep doing the opposite of what you're saying. I think that there's some cognitive dissonance going on here. Because you're actually lining up with your words. So either you were paying enough attention to it to be able to analyze the acting, or you secretly do like it. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, this sounds like an older individual who really lived to appreciate through Trek's prime run.
Yes.
And is now unable to accept anything different and new that isn't a continuation of the same characters, the same actors, the same writers that ended in the early 2000s. Like, I get it, dude, but
we have to accept change.
This isn't necessarily for us, and that is a hard pill to swallow. I've had to eat that crap sandwich enough watching some of this newer stuff, but it doesn't make it any less good.
So
Right.
so here's kind of where I see it. Like, on one hand, if you just kept it exactly as it is, right, it's going to be stagnant and you're not going to like it anyways, because it's just going to sit there and spoil, right? So the only real way forward is with some changes. And we're also looking at it for a modern audience, and we're looking at, if we want this to be able to continue onward, either we change a little bit. And I mean, Next Generation was a change. Deep Space Nine was a change. Voyager was a change. So Trek always changes. It just probably feels a little bit more jarring because we went from, what was the last episode? I said it was like, what, Enterprise was, I was in middle school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, not to make all of us feel very old, but next year I will be 20 years graduated from high school.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and there's been a lot of social changes and media changes and tech changes and everything else. And if Star Trek is supposed to ask questions and hold the mirror up to us and everything else, it does need to change with our times. It can't just go back to what it was.
I would like to see what this guy would have reviewed Deep Space Nine when it came new back in the day. You're not on a ship. You're on an alien space station. You're not going anywhere but in little runabout craft. The first ship they bring in for the crew is a warship. very different than anything you've ever seen. And you spend,
Right.
out of that 7 seasons, from end of season 3 till 7, in galactic war. Like, dude, that was so different than anything that had come before and anything that had come after.
Right.
Like,
Right.
looking back, yes, I'm sure you love it and it's part of the great Prime stuff. But I'd love to see how this guy would have felt back then, because we took that monumental leap in that show.
Yeah.
Another round. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have one more bad one, and then I want to end with a few good ones. But there's this one. This one I'm picked especially for Dave.
I love it. Let me analyze.
It's MTV Star Trek. If J.J. Abrams' Apple Store Star Trek had a child with an MTV show, you would get Star Trek Strange New Worlds. This show starts off great. It teased the possibility of doing Trek the old school way, but in a new and honestly abhorrent robe. Although the thoughtful stories of old got replaced with glossy, soulless ships, CGI, Unreal Engine backgrounds with high school level writing. My fault, probably. It was too much to expect Kurtzman to figure this out, and I'm beginning to think that the only reason the Enterprise crew felt good was because he appeared in that horrendous Discovery show. But this show is slowly losing the legs it stood on. There were glimpses of potential, playing with the Gorn, but none of it's written with any depth. Everything you see from the characters or development to the adventures they go through is all back of the paper napkin deep. And he goes on for a lot more. But
Is that because we don't, again, contrasting what we said earlier, 20 episodes, 10 are, and we talked about how we just weren't getting as much depth. Is that what this person is saying?
well, so here's another clip of what they're saying, because I think you're kind of onto something here. The person goes on and says, I watched Trip and T'Pol go from loathing each other to becoming crewmates to becoming friends to becoming arguably the best part of Enterprise. It took them 3 seasons to get there. A relationship that blossomed before my eyes with every moment of feeling earned. So they are talking about that. The fact that you got 3 seasons, you got not just 3 seasons, you got 20 episodes plus in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
We're just not getting, now no, because even in, sorry, I was thinking of like a completely different show, and I was like, well, that show had like someone go from like enemy to frenemy to like bestie over only 3 seasons. But yeah, I think it was like 20 episodes each. So I do think that maybe this person has, I'm not going to say like completely valid things, but like I can understand their perspective of, we're just unfortunately with the structure that we're being presented with and the shortened time, I mean, you're kind of just not getting, realistically, we're trying to condense a normal Star Trek arc in half.
Right. So there are some good episodes, if I can share just good reviews here.
Sure, go for it.
Feels most like the real Star Trek. Just like the first 2 TV series, this is all about awesome space exploration. Yet it has some really interesting characters to develop nicely and have to make interesting choices. This combines all that's great about Star Trek, the kind of interesting aliens and space exploration from the first 2 TV series, with great overarching story and the characters like Deep Space Nine, but with modern special effects and tempo. There's also a good amount of humor, and the new Star Trek TV show couldn't be better. That's what that person said.
Yeah.
And I like how he said with a modern special effects and tempo. That kind of plays into what we're talking about, what you were saying, Dave, earlier about the fact that in today's world, stuff just moves faster.
It really does. I was just saying that about playing WoW. I was like, man, I kind of like it. It has this much faster gameplay. I mean, literally, I just saw like
No one wants to grind for weeks on end to get level 46.
And I mean, although Turtle WoW is really taken off, which is a whole other thing. So it's like, but you have this kind of almost more and more of two kind of audiences. You have the audiences that want the things in the fast, and that tends to be the younger people. And then you have us older people who, you know, retiring, going off places, being, you know, finding arcanes and screaming for people to get off our lawns. You know, we want things a little bit slower. And a little bit more.
This next person said, better than the original.
Oh, no, that's heresy. Sorry.
And it said, but I am old enough to remember the original run. They both have continuing stories and independent episodes woven together. The acting's wonderful. The directing's excellent. Special effects are top notch. Some of the episodes are a bit avant-garde and may hurt people's brains. But as they said in the original, brains, what are brains?
Yeah. I can really picture that if Gene Roddenberry made the original series today, it would look a lot like this.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
not
Yeah,
exactly,
because you're dealing
but a lot.
you're dealing with modern sentiment, right?
Correct.
Yeah, he'd be impacted by the trends, the trying to appeal to the audience, what CBS Paramount is doing to try and get that audience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And what's going on with the world too? I mean,
right.
part of what Star Trek did was hide what it was trying to say through the story and the allegory. Roddenberry would find ways to do that, you know, with things going on in the world right now.
And that's why we love Trek, and that's what makes good science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fact, a different reviewer said kind of the same thing, said, it's such a pleasure to be reminded of the original reasons why this series is so important right now. The world is tearing itself apart, and it's now more than ever that we need media to remind us that we are all connected and we all want the same things in life. We have so much to learn as the species. Absolutely well done, Paramount, for making this happen.
See, I think that's a good one to end on.
Yeah. Very good. The other one, I'll just read the title, was Has a High Bar, but Reaches It.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So where do we rank? So where do we rank Strange New Worlds right now for you? Let's rank it two ways. How does this season hold up in the light of the other two seasons of Strange New Worlds, if you can do that? And how does it hold up in general for you? We'll do those two things. So we're talking about season 3, then the series as a whole so far.
Okay. All right.
Miles, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so far, I think this has been the best season so far. Not that the other two aren't good, but I think this one, I think that this one was probably the best. What was the second part of your question about?
It was how does this? So you like this season out of all? How does this series stack up maybe against other Star Trek?
Deep Space Nine will always be my favorite Star Trek. And it's not a fair comparison because it had 7 seasons, it had 20 plus episodes a season. But this comes close because
So maybe the question is, how does this rank with the more modern Star Trek? If we don't compare it to like any of the old Star Trek.
Third question. Hold on.
I am, but I think that's probably a little bit more fair because you're right. There's a lot of nostalgia that plays into late TNG.
Well, it's probably better
Voyager,
than Enterprise. Can we agree on that? Sorry.
Depending on whether you're listening to the guy whose review I read. But anyways.
So I enjoy this almost modern retelling of original series. It's not, it's supposed to be a prequel to the original series, but it's going back to just before the original series. So to see this show, this is what Discovery should have been. I mean, Discovery was supposed to like take place 10 years for original series, and it looked nothing like it, nothing at all. And it was just name only as far as where it was at. But this, like, no, we will embrace what original series was. So much so, we're going, even the aesthetics of the show. It's going to look modern, but it's also going to have an original series aesthetic. Our shuttlecraft is going to look super modern, but it's still going to look like the shuttlecraft from the original series. Our phasers are going to look like, they could be the precursor to the phasers. The props, the uniforms. It's just that now in 21st century, with the kind of budget and technology they have to do it with, this is what Discovery could have been, but Discovery went in its own weird direction. So I enjoy this show also because where it pays homage to the original series. Because I mean, original series was my first Trek. It's what got me into science fiction, got me into Star Trek, and loving all kinds of science fiction. So the fact that this lovingly embraces original series and still makes it look modern and futuristic, I enjoy. I enjoy immensely.
Chrissy, how about you?
Well, I mean, I will say part of the reason why I had to rush through watching season 3 was because I went back to try to start watching seasons 1 and 2, which I was slowly doing from our review of the first episode. So far, like, it seems pretty good in comparison to what I've seen. And I also haven't watched a whole lot of modern Trek. So I'm just because, again, maybe Star Wars gave me PTSD. I don't know. I'm just I don't trust these modern nonsense. And, but in comparison to the Star Trek that I grew up with, watching The Next Generation, watching Deep Space Nine, watching Voyager, I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was a good continuation of what we had before. I did obviously watch Picard, which I really liked. I've not touched Discovery because I've heard nothing but terrible things about it. So, is there any other modern Star Trek? Am I missing something?
Well, we got
Lower Decks, Prodigy.
Lower Decks I liked.
Yeah, Prodigy.
Yeah, so maybe I have watched more modern Star Trek than I thought. I just haven't been keeping up with Discovery mostly. So I would definitely say it's definitely one of the better ones that I saw. I think I may have liked Strange New Worlds better than I liked Picard. So.
Mm-hmm. Dave, how about you?
Oh, I mean, I share the same sentiment. I mean, every season of this show has been building on top of the other, and the quality has been better because we're getting to know these characters more. We're getting the development of enough of them that continues to build, and it just gets better for me that way. Overall, as far as new Trek goes, I mean, this is the top of my list. Picard is second. Lower Decks third. Prodigy fourth, because I've only watched 3 episodes of Prodigy, and Discovery is somewhere down there.
Yeah.
I'd probably throw Space 1999 in as an honorable mention before Discovery. And it's a shame because I'm going through a rewatch of The Walking Dead, and Shaniqua Barton Green, I absolutely love her in that show and absolutely cannot stand her in Discovery.
Well, then that just shows that she is clearly just acting what's there.
Exactly. Yeah.
If an actor is given slop, they can only do so much with it. I mean, come on.
Look at Hayden Christensen.
Exactly.
And he's coming around.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, great actor, but was given terrible. I mean, Natalie Portman. How can you spoil Natalie Portman? Anyways, moving on. Poor Scott needs to.
What about you, Scott?
Yeah, so this is interesting. I think that I definitely like this season. I didn't go back and rewatch season one or two, but I definitely like this season, and it was definitely strong. And I agree, Dave. I think you worded it really well that each season builds in the other. So whereas, you know, if you look at the first two seasons as being like a complete season, like a 20 episode arc, right? This was better, and maybe I'll get hate for this. This was better than like TNG first season.
Mhm.
That TNG first season, you go back and rewatch it. Well, I love TNG and would fight till the day I'm dead that that was a good series. Its first two seasons were not good,
Rough.
and
It
and
was a
and so
start.
this is much stronger than that when you look at it as a whole. And so I like the way you worded that, the fact that it is building upon it, and I feel like in some ways because of it and because of what it's trying to do to tie in to the greater mythos. And I think I wonder too, as we're talking here, is it if Discovery didn't teach them something, right? Because I think that it was while Discovery was being filled before Stranger Worlds was kind of on the docket that we began to hear people that of Discovery bringing in um, you know different writers like Dayton Ward to be consultants, to be people that were kind of trying to keep it honorable in a sense. And so I wonder if we're getting stronger Trek because of that. It didn't
Yeah.
help Discovery. It didn't
No.
help Discovery in the timeline. Uh, Although I think them trying to jump to the future was trying to kind of salvage it, right? To some way, it took it out of what people were complaining about, um, and did allow us to introduce Stranger Worlds, arguably.
Mhm.
Um, so we do maybe have to give it a little bit of credit for that. But yeah, so I think that where this ranks in the series that have been released, definitely Discovery. While I watched every episode, I would put it down at the lower end. I did not watch the animated series. Um, I um, I really like Picard, and I'm struggling to separate myself as to whether it's not the nostalgia piece. It's really playing that. Like, if I really argued this on a writing level, would I be putting him on the same place? And I'm not sure. I'm not sure because there were plenty of things that I liked, like you know the last season, especially if you look at each season being better than the first. That's what happened in Picard, right? First season was like, okay, and then second season just ramped it up, and then third season ramped it up even higher, and you began to just build on it. So I don't know. I did really like Picard. I don't know if it's better or worse than Stranger World. So I'll just say that.
Well,
They can be. You're allowed to put them on the same playing field.
Yeah.
uh,
What are you gonna say?
well, that was my problem too. It's Picard got me for the nostalgia, like,
Yeah.
and giving that crew a really good reunion and send off, and
Well,
hopefully set the stage for another show.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I will say that it gave us the send off to that crew that we should have gotten, because I feel like we didn't get as satisfying an ending with them.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nemesis was a tragic
Exactly.
fall.
And unfortunately that's the send off we got. So I think part of it, one, nostalgia, and two, we were finally given that kind of closure that we
Yeah.
really wanted with it. So in some ways it was emotionally healing. I will go quite into that. But it did give the fans the closure that they wanted with that particular story.
Yeah.
You were talking about season 1 and 2 of Next Gen, and how rough they were. Like, you want to talk about, like, the guys are writing these bad reviews about the acting and the characters and things like that in Strange New Worlds. Do you not remember Picard yelling constantly in season 1? Do you not remember the android who smirked and smiled through the first several almost half the entire first season that was supposed to be emotionless. You know, don't careful, because you probably haven't watched it in a while in its entirety.
Yeah. And
Memory,
yeah, and memory always makes it seem better than it is. Oh, back when Trek was good.
Yeah, the overly emotional Deanna Troi before they finally reined her in a little bit come season 3.
Right.
You know, let's really look at that if we're going to be that critical.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but overall,
All right.
it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're on board for season 4 of Stranger Worlds.
100%.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Well, we would love to hear your thoughts about Stranger Worlds season 3. Did you like it as much as we did? Do you have different opinions? We would obviously love to hear your thoughts, and you can share them at the sci-fi-diner-podcast@gmail.com or by posting on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, wherever else we're at. We would love to hear your thoughts about Stranger Worlds season 3. I think that is about it, guys.
Yeah.
Miles, do you want to take us out of the show?
All right. Till next time, good night and good luck.
We'll see ya.
Leave your tips on the table.
And go boldly.